Hi, I'm Dana, I'm 24, I'm autistic, and I'm currently looking for a job. And I don't think it's any secret that looking for a job absolutely sucks and is really, really hard. And I feel like it's another one of those areas that sucks and becomes a little bit more difficult when you're autistic. And I wanted to make a video about it. I'm currently applying for jobs, and I've never been good at applying for jobs. I think, I don't think no one's gonna get a job that they're not right for based purely on being good at applying for jobs. But you are gonna be noticed that little bit more if you have like a really strong CV and a strong cover letter and all these things that I don't really know how to do a good version of. I keep hearing how like most people get their jobs from in-house, you have to know someone, and I don't know anyone. I've been applying on Indeed and Facebook and Gumtree and like random sites that I can find a job on. I don't know people to talk to find some job that no one's applied to yet that I'll magically get. A fair amount of this just applies to anyone currently going through this and isn't like an autistic challenge, but it's the fact that applying for jobs becomes an absolute full-time job. Like, I don't know if I'm just using the worst sites or what, but I'm currently spending probably like at least 10 to 15 minutes applying to each job, if not closer to 25 to 30 minutes for some of them, or even longer, honestly. I had one that was like a 45-minute assessment. At the end of it, they were just like, no, you're not getting it. And I was like, well, why have I just done 45 minutes? Surely if I'm that terrible, you could have told me within the first like 15 that I'd already failed. But they're just asking for all of these constant assessments and do this writing assessment, do this math quiz. Like, I understand that you need to make sure people are able to do the job, but also you've got like 3,000 people wasting their time applying for this when 2 people are getting the role. Surely we don't all need to be wasting our time doing all of this. And there's also been numerous jobs that I think I'd be really bloody good at, but they've asked all these questions in the application and I'm just like, I don't know how to answer this. I don't know what they're looking for. Especially in English assessments that are done and maths assessments, there's so many questions where they're intentionally trying to like trip you up with the way the question's phrased. And like, honey, I'm already struggling enough. Like, why are you trying to trick me too? Like, give me the job or don't fuck with me as well. And that's all the stuff you've got to do before you get to the soul-crushing opportunity of having like 80 plus emails a day just letting you know you don't have the job and you're not getting this and you don't get that. And it's so fucking depressing. It's so depressing. Just every single day my inbox is like flooded with people letting me know that I'm not getting the job, or that I failed this assessment, or that I failed this, or I'm not getting this. And it really is starting to get to me. And obviously this is a struggle that everyone's facing. I don't think this is like an added autistic struggle. I think this is the struggle of the job market currently, at least in the UK. But I do have the added difficulty of having no idea what these people are looking for. There's been a fair few times where I've like read a job application to like my mum or my brother or someone, and they've been like, that's literally not what they're asking. And I'm just like, but it is. I read the question like 8 times before I typed this like 500-word answer. I was absolutely sure that's what they were asking, but apparently it's not. And even with like my CV, because my most recent job was one that I lasted at for 2 years, the longest job I've ever done. I loved it, and it's only after it all fell apart that I realised I was kind of just being taken advantage of, and it was kind of really shitty. So I'm also terrified of ending up in a position like that again. So I've stopped applying for like apprenticeships and things where it's like I'm going to be getting paid £4 an hour as a full-grown adult, because I don't want to feel like I'm being taken advantage of again. I don't want to feel like I'm doing a load of work for someone and getting very little to nothing out of it. And quite frankly, as a full-grown adult, if I'm going to be doing the work, I deserve to get the full pay so I can pay bills and buy myself things. But that's the other one, like, my experience is limited and I can't provide a reference, and I was working in a voluntary position essentially, and all my jobs before that either lasted for a handful of days or were agency positions. So when I'm applying to jobs that want all this experience, I just don't have it, and I don't really get how I'm supposed to get it, Like, you want like 2 to 4 years experience for being a waitress or working in a bar, and it's like, I get that they're like fucking high stress, like fast-paced jobs where you have to know what you're doing, but also train me for a week and I'll be fine, Like, everywhere wants all of this experience that I just do not have. And even when I'm trying to apply for digital roles, and it's like I've had a blog for like 6 years or something, I've grown my own social media platforms, blah, 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 blah. People seem impressed. People seem really impressed. And I've had 2 interviews so far from the hundreds of jobs that I applied to. The first one was at like a local clothing boutique. the job sounded great. The interview went really well. The woman was like so nice. She was proper like, oh, I'm sure you'll hear from me later. You're by far the most like accomplished person that's come in for this. Everything you've done looks brilliant. All of this looks amazing. You'll be hearing back from us. And then I just didn't get the job. And I was like, I'd gone in there expecting to not get the job. And then you got my hopes up and made me think I was going to get the job that I actually wanted. And then I didn't. So now I feel like absolute shit. When if I'd just gone in and done the interview and she'd been like, okay, you'll hear back from us if you get the position, I'd have been fine. But no. And I'm trying not to be too petty about it. But, you know, it's difficult when, like, that was one of the very few jobs I found where I was like, this is a job I want. This isn't some, like, cleaning, waitressing, like, bullshit where it's a job and I can do it. It's a job I want to do and will have, like, drive and passion and motivation for. And it really sucks to not get it. But then the other side of that, and this is where I'm not so sure that neurotypical people and people with a bit more life experience and job experience and everything, I don't think you'd fall for it. But my experience this time and last time I was like really heavily applying for jobs is that I get an interview and I go for the interview and they're sort of a little, I can't quite tell if it's legit, you know. This time around they were like, oh yeah, having like sales experience online is brilliant. And I was sat there thinking like, I didn't say I have sales experience online, I said that I have a blog. And then they just kept talking about sales and talking about sales and I was like kind of like, okay, so in this position, what would my responsibilities be? You know, to try and like be like, what the fuck's this job? Like, what the fuck is this job? Because I'm applying to like 100 jobs a fucking day. You've emailed me back with like no context. I have no idea what this job's for. It could be anything from a cleaner to a fucking like brain surgeon at this point. I'm just applying to whatever I think I might want to throw my hand at. Like, what is the job? And this has happened to me, like I say. I've had like 4 interviews in my life and 2 of them have gone this way. Where they're like, oh, well, we're a very driven team and we're like this and we do this. And I'm still there like, yeah, what's the job? And it turns out it's fucking house, like door to door or out in the street sales. You know the fuckers you see stood in town and you're just trying to like get to where you're going and they're like, hey, do you have a moment to talk? No, I don't, hon. I'm not being one of those people. For one, it's always commission-based, which I think should be illegal, quite frankly. Pay me a salary or fuck off. Like, if I'm working, like, 6-hour days to try and sell your shit, I deserve to get paid for trying to sell your shit, not just when I do get paid. Like, actually sell your shit. That's not fair. Oh, God. It really angers me. I'm sorry. But also, as like an autistic anxious person, there is no fucking chance I'm approaching people on the street or knocking on their fucking homes to be like, buy this, buy it now, go on. No. And if you just told me that this is what the job was, I wouldn't be wasting my time and their time by going through all these fucking interview processes for them to be like, oh, it's commission and you have to sell shit. But like, remember guys, within 2 years, you can work your way up through the system and be at a level 5 management phase, which is when you get your own offices and you get to induct people into this bullshit like you've just been pulled into it. And it's a pyramid scheme. It's not even a fucking job. It's a pyramid scheme with an office. And that's what I keep stumbling across. And, you know, I feel like it's just, I've done enough crappy jobs to be like, I'm not fucking doing it again. You know, I've worked for free. I've done so many voluntary positions in various different places. I worked in my fucking family's shop when I was a child. Like, I've been working long enough for free. At least pay me. At least give me a job where it's an actual job and not me hoping to fuck I managed to sell something to get 100 quid in this week. And I think especially for like us autistic people, like I say, I didn't realise that was the job until I was at the interview. It wasn't so bad this time around because it was a Zoom interview, but I got all the way to the 3rd one before I was like, oh crap, I don't think I can do this job. The first time I had this happen to me, I'd gone to the interview all dressed smart in like a little skirt and shoes that were really uncomfortable but looked good. You know, I was like living my best professional life. And then they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go get a train to Chester and try and sell stuff to people in the street. And I had to just shake the other man's hand that was there for the job and be like, you've got it, mate, because I'm going home. I'm off. And it, you know, I laugh about it because it is very laugh or cry for me when it comes to jobs. It's very, very laugh or fucking cry. You know, the few positions that I've managed to have that were good, I absolutely fucking cherish. And, you know, like, even then, though, my communication sucks because I'm anxious. So when people have offered things that I can do, I kind of don't really get around to it. And I'm so aware that it comes across as laziness or just can't be bothered, when in the reality it's a multitude of different steps of executive dysfunction and anxiety and fear and just feeling consistently overwhelmed by life and communicating with people. And even knowing that, I feel really bad about it. I'm like, nah, you're lazy though, aren't you? So that's fab. You know, like, I'm just really getting to a point where it feels like I'm never gonna get a job. And it really sucks. You know, it especially sucks when, like, I don't have, like, an education anyway. So it's not like I was about to, like, go off and be like, I really need to get into this specialised field. But, like, when, like, it is literally, I will take anything I can do. Anything I can do, I will take. And I can't even get a job, like, cleaning toilets or changing beds somewhere. You know, we all shit on Mackie's workers, which I think's bullshit anyway, because I've never loved anyone like I love a Mackie's worker at 2 a.m. when you're like fucking digging in after a night out. But you know, we all shit on Mackie's workers. I can't even get a job at McDonald's. I can't even get a Starbucks job, and we all like kind of shit on the baristas. The people that work in coffee shops, we also kind of shit on because it's like a menial job and it's worth nothing, which again, I don't agree with. But you know, like, it's the jobs that are considered in society's eyes to be really menial and a bit shitty. I don't care. Like, I have no, like, fucking predisposed, like, almightiness of myself in which, like, I need to get a good job. I just want to get paid for the work that I do and be able to get a job, you know? But I think that's one thing that people don't understand as well, is that it does need to be something I can do. Because I've had quite a few people, by which I mean 2 people, my mum and my mum's best friend, tell me about jobs that are going in places that they work in. And with my mum, it's like, yeah, but you work in a super busy kitchen where you have to communicate with people. If I don't communicate well enough, someone's getting fucking burnt or set on fire or something. Like, it would be really dangerous for me to work in that setting because I'm not good at communicating. I'm not even particularly, like, spatial aware. Like, I could fully, like, throw a vat of oil over someone and just be like, oh, shit. You know? And the other was a travel agency doing the phones. And it's like, I so appreciate that you know me well enough to know that, like, I don't want to have to interact with people in real life. You know, like, it's really kind of them to think like that, but also, like, I can't do fucking phones, my dude. Like, sorry. So it's, you know, and again, it comes across as, like, laziness or thinking I'm better than other people or something and that I won't do these jobs. And it's like, no, it's that I can't. You know, I can phone them up now and be like, hey, can you give me the job? And maybe they would. But I'm going to get to me first day and they're going to be like, why are you not doing your job? And I'm going to be like, because I'm too anxious and I can't pick up the phone. And it's just going to be a whole fucking disaster again. And I know, because that's how my jobs went in the past. You know, that's how I always say I did 3 days at Amazon. I did 1 day. I did half a day the next day, and then they let me and my brother go early because he had to drive me home because I was so upset. And then I came back the next day for them to basically walk me around the building a bit and be like, you're not very good at working here, are you? So like, I did like 2 days at Amazon and a half day where I didn't do any work, and it was just, you see what I mean? Like, if I can't do a job, I'm not going to be able to last at it. I sat down to make this thinking it was going to be like a helpful, relatable video for other people, but I think I've just ranted to the point that I actually do kind of feel a bit better about it now. That being said, I do hope it is relatable to some people, because, you know, from my research, there's only 22% of autistic people in employment of any sort. So obviously there's going to be a lot of people in my position of, like, either not being able to work or not being able to find a job that would work for you, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I have made myself feel a bit better, but it'd make me feel even better if you wanted to let me know I'm not alone in the comments. Oh, it's so, let me know I'm not alone. No, but, you know, it's not the kind of thing where I'm like, I'd love to hear your experiences, because I don't want you to have had bad experiences. But, like, that being said, if you've had them, it'd be nice to know it's not just me, you know? God, it's going to be a positivity-filled comment section on this positivity-filled video. But I've been talking for a long while, so I'm gonna go now, I think. I've spoken very quickly as well, so maybe slow this down a bit, like, I don't know. As soon as I'm, like, excited or angry, I'm just like, and all the words come out all at once. So, whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, afternoon, day, week, month, year, and I'll see you again in a few days, hopefully with a more cheerful video.